Welcome to the Modern Day Cottage. I'm Emily Ryder and this is my daughter,
Ruby Ann.
Today we're going to show you how to make sourdough pumpkin cinnamon rolls. These sourdough pumpkin cinnamon rolls are very delicious and you will be coming back to them time and time again. Let's get started. We're going to start with 190 grams of whole milk, and you want it at least 110 degrees warmed up milk, and we're going to add that to the stand mixer. Then we're going to add the sugar, and we're going to mix this up and let it dissolve. That's going to be your first step. Oh, and this is a half a cup of sugar. Alright, so I'm going to put the whisk beater in the stand-up mixer and let this dissolve. Alright, we're going to turn the stand mixer on medium to medium high. We're going to mix up the warm milk until the sugar has dissolved. Okay, so that has been mixed up. Now I'm going to switch to the paddle attachment. Okay. Alright, so we're going to start with the wet ingredients, and we're going to do a cup of sourdough starter. Oh my heavens. Okay. Alright, so we've got a cup of sourdough in here. If your sourdough is nice and bubbly, be prepared for a mess. Next, we're going to add in the 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. Up next, we're going to add in half a cup of pumpkin puree. And then we're going to add our vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of pumpkin spice seasoning. 1 teaspoon of salt. We're going to add in 640 grams of bread flour. That equals, in cup volume measurement, 5 1/3 cups of bread flour. The reason why I added all the wet stuff first is because that way the flour doesn't stick to the sides as much, and the wet will incorporate at the bottom. The stand mixer has like a divot in the bottom that's really hard to get if you add the dry ingredients first. And we'll add 1 egg at a time. We're adding 2 eggs to this recipe. We're going to go ahead and turn the mixer on and get this well incorporated, and then we're going to add the last egg. What Ruby Ann is doing is she is getting down the sides of the mixer, the dough that's on the sides of the mixer with the spatula, so that way it can incorporate well. We'll mix up just a little bit more. What we're going to do is we're going to mix this up for 2 to 3 minutes. Then after that, we're going to let it rest for 30 minutes, and then we're going to add 1/3 of a cup of melted butter. All right, so that's what we're going to do now. It's been 30 minutes. We've let the sourdough pumpkin cinnamon roll dough set for 30 minutes, and we're going to add in, Ruby Ann's going to add in 1/3 of a cup of butter, and we're going to mix this until it's well incorporated. The dough's going to be sticky. It's going to be different than your bread dough. It's going to be sticky and glossy. You want it glossy. Well, probably because of the butter, but we're gonna oil a bowl, a 4-quart bowl, and we're gonna let this rest. And then we're gonna let it rest for 30 minutes. And then we're gonna do stretch and folds 4 times every 30 minutes. And then after the 4th stretch and fold, we're gonna put it in the refrigerator to let it set overnight, and tomorrow we'll make the rolls. So we're gonna cover this and we're gonna let it set for 30 minutes. Okay, this is our last stretch and fold on our sourdough pumpkin cinnamon rolls. And then we're going to let it bulk ferment on the countertop. After it's done bulk fermenting for a couple of hours, 4 to 6 hours, then we're going to put it in the refrigerator to let it set overnight. The dough has been sitting in the refrigerator overnight, and I've taken it out of the bowl and put it onto the pan. I've got it on a buttered pan, that way it doesn't stick to the pan. So we're going to flatten it out into a rectangle shape. I chose this pan. It's a size that I wanted for a rectangle, but you can most certainly do this on the counter and do it bigger. The bigger you can spread it out and then roll it up, the more swirls you get into your cinnamon rolls. But you know, if that's the desired outcome, bigger makes more swirls. We're gonna flatten this out. This is our sourdough pumpkin cinnamon rolls, and we are using our house blend of our pumpkin spice seasoning that we will share with y'all later in another video. We're just gonna flatten this out by hand.
It smells delicious.
We let it bulk ferment about 4 hours, and then we put it in the refrigerator, and we just got it out. Okay, so that's how much I want to spread mine out, and now it's spread out, and I'm gonna set this to the side, and I'm gonna get the filling, and that's what we're going to mix up next. So Ruby Ann is going to help me. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use a stick of butter. So if you'll go ahead and put the stick of butter in your bowl, like this. Okay, and I want you to smash it up really good. So you'll smash up the butter really good, and you want it room temp butter, so that way you can smash it up. You can nuke it in the microwave for 5-second intervals. Check on it because every microwave has different wattage. Once you get the butter mixed up really nice and smooth, kind of like that, yeah. Okay, we'll go ahead and mix in the sugars. So we have a 1/2 cup of, we use natural sugar cane, which it can be called turbinado sugar as well. It lends a more caramel taste to it and more of a just caramel undernotes, I guess is what I'm saying. And it's better than white cane sugar to us in our cottage kitchen, but you most certainly can use white granulated sugar if you do not have the turbinado sugar or the sugar cane. Use what you have. Don't go out and buy something that you know don't necessarily need. Okay, if you'll go ahead and then you'll go ahead and mix in the brown sugar. We have light brown sugar. That's what we use here in our cottage kitchen. We do have brown sugar, but to me it lends too much of a molasses taste to your goods. So we prefer the light brown sugar. But again, you can use the dark brown sugar if you like more of that molasses taste. Everybody has a different, everybody has a preferred taste that they like. So don't be scared to experiment with your recipes as well if you don't particularly like the outcome the first time. Okay, so we're using 2 tablespoons of our house blend of our pumpkin pie spice seasoning. And we will share that, like I said, in another video coming soon with our fall series. We have a lot planned this fall season.
That smells good.
It smells delicious. So this is the secret to the sourdough pumpkin cinnamon rolls, is the spice blend. If you like pumpkin pie spice, you'll really love this seasoning. It seems to have a little bit more different taste than the store-bought blend already, and it's simple to mix up and have for your fall. Okay, I'll take over, Ruby, if you'll. Okay, then you'll want to mix it up really good with a spatula till you don't see any more clumps like that. Just a smooth color consistency. This will melt, while it's baking. Okay, so now we're going to put it on there for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So you just smooth it out on the top, your filling. And you want to kind of keep it away from the edge, about 1/2 inch from all the edges, because when you go to roll it up and you bake them, it seems to leach out your filling as it's cooking. And if you keep it within the 1/2 inch perimeter, all around the edges, that the filling seems to stay in the cinnamon rolls instead of in the pan. Because it makes a caramelized bottom if it leaches out too much, and it does burn, and it tends to change the taste profile of your cinnamon rolls when you have that burnt glazed at the bottom. Look at all those bubbles. It's gonna be so good.
Yes, it is.
So one of my favorite fall treats is the sourdough pumpkin cinnamon rolls. This is an absolute delight to make. It is really good. This is a treat that you can impress your friends and family with. And honestly, it's not a lot of hands-on. Sourdough gets a reputation of being hard to achieve, and it's not at all. The next step is we're going to roll this up. Oh yeah, on the long edge. Yeah, roll it up on the long edge. See? Hey, you can tell Ruby's been in the kitchen with me for quite some years. I forget some things, and she remembers them. Okay, so we're gonna roll it up really tight. You can kind of pull it and tuck it, like you would if you were rolling anything, like, don't be scared of the dough. A lot of people get scared of, because it's sourdough, it has this such mystique. I don't know. It just seems. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like people are usually afraid of it because they want it to turn out a certain way, and sourdough don't always turn out the right, perfect way.
Right. But once you learn just a few simple tricks and know what the dough is supposed to look like, know what it's supposed, the time and the feel, and all those things that go. It's really quite simple once you get the knack of it. All right, so we're using waxed dental floss. This is unflavored, okay? So that way you don't get peppermint. So I'm just gonna eyeball it, and you crisscross. You crisscross underneath. Oh, another tip, when you have a cast iron, we have one for sweets and then we have one for savory. The reason being, it imparts a flavor in it when you cook. But now you can clean your cast iron and it won't have that. Alright, so it made 12 rolls, that's what you should get. And that's why I like doing it in that pan, because it gives me exact length and size that I need for 12 big rolls. Alright, so we're gonna cover these and we're gonna let them rise for about 30 minutes to an hour. Depends on, you want them full in the pan. So I know that these will be ready when these are ready. And so we'll let them rise until fluffy and they filled in the pan. And then we're gonna add half a cup of whipping cream onto the top of them. And we'll add some in here. All right, so when you add the whipping cream to them, it makes the bottom have this gooey goodness that you don't get. Otherwise, you could just possibly run the chance of burning the filling under the bottom and having this burnt taste to it. So that is our tip and secret, is the whipping cream. We're gonna add pumpkin pie spice seasoning, our house blend that we make here, into the whipping cream before we pour it on. All right, so that'll be the next step after these have risen. So we're gonna cover these up, let them rise, then pour over the whipping cream with the pumpkin pie spice seasoning. The sourdough pumpkin cinnamon rolls have filled up into the cast iron pan. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our half a cup of whipping cream and we're gonna add pumpkin pie spice to it. We're gonna add 2 teaspoons to this. And we're gonna whisk it up and we're gonna pour it on the top of the rolls. And we're gonna reserve some of it for the other 4 rolls that we didn't have room for in here. All right, so you're just gonna drizzle this on the top of the rolls. I'm going to reserve a little bit for the other. All right, so we're going to pop these into the oven at 350 degrees for 20 to 35 minutes. When they're golden brown, that's when they're done. Well, actually, when they're just lightly golden brown. Okay, set your timer for 25 to 30 minutes, then check them at that point. I'm going to go ahead and set the timer for 25 minutes. And then we'll see how they are at that point. And if they're not lightly golden, sun-kissed at the top, then we'll continue cooking until they are. We're gonna make the topping that goes on the sourdough pumpkin cinnamon rolls. Ruby Ann's gonna use her KitchenAid mixer, her handheld KitchenAid mixer. All right, we're using 2 tablespoons of butter. She's gonna cream this and 8 ounces of cream cheese. Once that's creamed up, all light and fluffy, you're going to add in 100 grams of powdered sugar, also known as confectionate sugar. If you don't have, this is another tip, if you don't have powdered sugar, you can take regular sugar and put it in the blender, and it will actually make powdered sugar. Okay, and I'm going to add in a pinch of salt. I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. This is our house vanilla extract that we make here in our cottage kitchen. Okay. And then she's going to blend this up until well incorporated. Alright, so now you're going to take that mixture and you're going to transfer it into a airtight container and put it in the refrigerator until you're ready to use it for the topping. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to cover this and let it sit in the refrigerator until we need it to top the sourdough pumpkin cinnamon rolls. Our sourdough pumpkin cinnamon rolls have cooled, and now Ruby is going to put the icing on the top, the cream cheese frosting on the top. Okay, so the sourdough pumpkin cinnamon rolls have been iced, and we are going to try one. They're so fluffy. So what do you think?
It's delicious.
They're so good. Thank you for watching with us today here at the Modern Day Cottage. If you liked this video, give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and you will be notified of new content as we put it out. As always, we share homemade recipes, cottage living, and a cozy home. We'll see you in the next video.